So you should have your note-taking guide ready as well as your workbook, and we are going to start on page 62. So go ahead and open up to page 62, and we're going to read while taking notes. So we learned about the three grand divisions of Tennessee. We know there's West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and East Tennessee. So let's go ahead and read about it. Natural resources vary across Tennessee. So each of the three grand divisions has different natural resources, and we're going to learn about those. Each Tennessee grand division has some physical features similar to those in other grand divisions. Each grand division also has distinct differences. As a result of their differences, each region is unique. So each grand division has unique natural resources. Each grand division specializes in producing what it can produce best. And as a result, each grand division produces different products than other divisions. Because if you live in the mountainous East Tennessee, you may not be able to produce crops like you can on the flat lands of West Tennessee or in the rolling hills of Middle Tennessee. So that's why each of these three have their own products that they might specialize in, and we are going to learn about those. So we're going to look at specific examples of how the grand divisions vary. So let's look at the farmland. Farmland is very important so that we can have crops and animals so that we can have food to eat. So different natural resources. Tennessee's three grand divisions all have farmland. However, each region's type of farmland is different. So this is where we're going to start taking notes. We're going to learn about how West Tennessee has different farmland from Middle Tennessee, and East Tennessee also has different farmland. So let's go ahead and get out our note-taking guide, and we're going to take notes as we read. So the farms in West Tennessee are on low, flat land. Now, instead of writing that whole sentence out, I'm going to take it note-taking style, and I'm just going to say farms equal low, flat land. At any point when you are watching this video, you can pause so that you can take notes at your own pace. Much of the land is in the Mississippi River floodplain. This area has warm temperatures and moderate rainfall. Because they all have warm temperatures, and I have already read that, I'm going to go ahead and not take notes on that. Let's look at Middle Tennessee. The farms in Middle Tennessee are on gently rolling hills. So I'm going to write farms equal gentle hills. It gets the most precipitation, and it has warm temperatures as well as the other ones. The farms in East Tennessee are on rolling hills or in valleys. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down as well. This area has slightly cooler temperatures because of the mountains. It gets the least precipitation of the state. Different products. So Tennessee farmers use farmland to grow crops and raise livestock. Farmers grow crops and raise livestock that the land is well suited for. Farms in different grand divisions produce different products because the land is different in each area. So this is very important. We need to know the different crops or livestock that are produced on the farms. And so this is very important, and I want you to copy this down onto your note-taking guide. So go ahead and pause the video now and copy down, for example, for West Tennessee, you would put a little bullet point and put cotton, corn, soybeans. So go ahead and copy that down now. Once you're done copying that down, let's look at page 63. When people or businesses focus on producing what they can do best, this is specialization. When many businesses in a region specialize in the same industry, that becomes a region specialization. States and countries specialize too. So you notice in our area, especially around this time of year, or around the October or September type of part of the year, There is a lot of tobacco. You see those barns that look like they are on fire. They're just smoking or heating up the tobacco. And so that is something that this area specializes in. So identify the grand division of Tennessee for each farming specialization. Go ahead and complete this now. You can use your notes to complete it. Okay, once you're done, let's look at Tennessee rocks and minerals. There are many natural resources found in the rocks and soil of Tennessee. These resources vary between Tennessee's grand divisions. Coal. So coal is really important. It was a lot more important in the past. But coal is found in rocks. People who work as coal miners dig the coal out of rocks in underground mines to bring it to the surface. Coal can be burned to produce electricity and heat, so coal is pretty important. Coal was burned to heat homes and to power steamships and steam locomotives in American history. Today, coal is burned by power plants to produce electricity. The electricity is sold as a finished product to homes and businesses where it powers appliances, lights, factory equipment, televisions, and more. So coal is mainly found in East Tennessee, and it's been an important industry for this part of the state. Let's go ahead and write that for East Tennessee. Coal is mainly found in East Tennessee, so you should have your other notes here, and you're going to write down coal. Okay, let's move on to page 64. Limestone. Limestone is another type of rock that is made of at least 50% calcium. Limestone is often used in buildings, as you can see here. A special type of limestone is known as Tennessee marble. Tennessee marble has been used in many famous buildings, including the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. It has many other uses. It's used to prepare soil for farming, and animal feed to help chickens make stronger eggs, in coal mines to reduce coal dust, as an ingredient in cement, paint, and more. So limestone can be used for many different things. And if you look right here, it's mainly found in Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee. So you're going to want to write down limestone for both Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee. So go ahead and do that now. Pause the video. Okay, let's look at ball clay. Ball clay is an unusual clay that can be found in Tennessee. Tennessee ball clay becomes white and smooth when fired. Those characteristics make it popular for making dishes. It can also be used to make specialty tiles and pottery. So ball clay also has many different uses, and it is mined in West Tennessee, as we can see right here. So go ahead and write ball clay in West Tennessee. You should have more notes than me because you are writing down some things that I am not while you pause the video. Let's go ahead and look at zinc. Zinc is a mineral that is mined in Tennessee. Zinc can be mixed with other metals or used to coat other metals to protect items from rusting. Zinc is used to make cars, electronics, and appliances. So zinc is pretty important, and it's only mined in 3 counties in East Tennessee and only 1 county in Middle Tennessee. So you're going to want to write that down. We will write East Tennessee, zinc, 3 counties, and in Middle Tennessee, zinc, 1 county. So it's not in many different areas, but you can see that even though it's only mined in 4 counties in Tennessee, it's the 2nd largest producer of zinc in the United States, which I found pretty interesting. Okay, for now we are going to skip the critical thinking right there so that we have time to learn about the different grand divisions. So let's talk about trees. You have seen trees probably most everywhere in Tennessee. So all 3 grand divisions have many trees, but the different types of trees in each region is different. Tennessee is known for its hardwoods. Tennessee timber includes chestnut, oak, poplar, hickory, cherry, walnut, and others. So trees and timber are pretty much the same thing. And And you need to know that those mean the same thing. They're used to make boards. Boards are used in the construction of homes, businesses, furniture, and other items. So timber can be used for a bunch of different things. So we're going to go ahead and write down that timber is used in all three. So if we had a Venn diagram with the three circles, now I'm just going to draw them real quickly. You will not draw them. We could put timber in the middle because it is what all three of them have in common. Now, it doesn't really go into the specifics of which of the grand divisions have which type of timber, but let's keep reading about the history of the trees and timber in Tennessee. In the past, many trees in Tennessee were cut to fuel the growing country. Soon, many mountainsides were bare. People quickly realized that they needed to protect Tennessee's forests before they were gone. So today, many forests are part of public land. And Tennessee is the 5th largest producer of hardwood in the United States. Thankfully, today, forests are usually replanted when cut. I'm going to put a little smiley face because that makes me happy that they are now protecting our environment by replanting those trees that they cut down. So as you can see here, it confirms that timber is available in all of the grand divisions of Tennessee. East Tennessee has the most forested land. Let's look at water. Now you're probably thinking that water is found everywhere in Tennessee, and you would be correct because each of our three grand divisions has a river either running through it or running at the edge or border of that grand division. So let's look at water as a natural resource. Water is a natural resource that is essential for many products. That means it's very important and needed. Water is necessary for farming. Water is used in manufacturing, and water is an ingredient of many products. Water in Tennessee is also used to create hydroelectricity. So right here you can see a dam where when the water flows through, it probably spins a turbine and produces hydroelectricity for our state. So we know that water is in all three grand divisions. And if you remember which river is in which grand division, you can go ahead and write that now. So write down water is in all three, and then we are actually going to go back and write in which rivers are in which parts of our grand divisions. Okay, on this, we are not going to do compare and contrast because we have it on our note sheet, and we can just compare and contrast by looking at it. However, it is important to know which of these materials come from which of the three grand divisions. And then for fun, you can do this word search to find the different natural resources in the three grand divisions. And if you choose to do this word search, I would like you, while you are finding those natural resources, I would like you to think which ones are located in which grand division. Okay, once you have finished all of this, we need to go back and add some more things to our chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to this chart that we looked at the very beginning, and we are going to add this information to our chart. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it for West Tennessee. You're going to do it for Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee. I'm going to show you for West Tennessee so that you can see it better on your screen. I'm going to show you how to transfer this into note form. So when we're writing notes, you do not need to write complete sentences unless your teacher asks you to. But especially when you're writing this many notes, you are not going to want to have to write down word for word what's happening. So I'll show you how to transfer that over. So let's look. This division has the flattest land in Tennessee. So that's for West Tennessee. We already have that it has low flat land, but I'm just going to write flattest land. See how I turned that entire sentence into two words? Yet I still know what it means. Okay, much of this division is part of a large plain. So I'm going to write land equals plains. Remember, plains are flat land with not very many trees. The Tennessee River flows north here as it forms this division's eastern border. So you should have written water right about here. And now we are going to write what river. So I'm going to shorten Tennessee River to TN. That is the abbreviation for Tennessee. Tennessee River is the eastern border. And it has another river flowing not through it, but as a border. So the Mississippi River forms the western border. So this division of Tennessee, the West Tennessee, is kind of just surrounded by rivers, and that's how we can divide it. Now what I would like you to do is I would like you to finish by writing notes for East Tennessee and Middle Tennessee. So I'll just give you one more example. This one says this division includes many high mountains. That's actually very, very, very important. So you can just write high mountains, or you can write mountains. And so go ahead and finish by writing your notes for East Tennessee and Middle Tennessee, and then you will be done with this activity.